Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. Hello folks, I greet you. Welcome to Homo Politicus. A happy new year. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today, setting the agenda for Mr. President in 2024. Well, in this connection, an old established Japanese proverb comes to mind. It says, quote, fall down 7 times, get up 8 times, end quote. Now, this saying underscores the concept of resilience or insurmountability. Truth is, we have fallen down more than 8 times before now, but as if by a miracle, we are still standing. Tells me to reach our full potential will require a few knocks in the right places. President Bola Tinubu made a nationwide broadcast to the nation on Monday, January 1st, 2024. Yes, the broadcast was, I dare say, salutary in some parts, yet in many others, it provoked the need to set an agenda for the Commander-in-Chief for the new year. Ordinary Nigerians demand quick relief from the economic challenges befalling them. Our troubles are legion, but not insurmountable. Security, economic boom, power generation, above all else, saving the national currency, the Naira. So what's yours? Shall we have a conversation? My conversationalists are the new look Aki Fatunke, chartered accountant, political commentator. Aki, I greet you.
I return your greetings.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. Happy old years to Nigerians. I hope it will become very new soon.
Okay then. And he's joined by Sheson Okwade, a chartered accountant as well, and a public affairs analyst. Sheson, I greet you too.
Good morning, citizen, and good morning to all our viewers. Happy New Year to all. At least we're starting a new one, even if we don't have an hope.
And Sheson, it's a leap year.
Yeah, leap indeed, but I hope that we'll be able to plug into it, maybe spiritually.
As required.
How to leap with the year.
That's
most of the time, we are prophetic and we don't do things to go in line with those prophecies.
Except I warn that please, let's leap with our eyes wide open. Otherwise, we may be leaping into kamikaze. So we don't get ourselves.
As the Japanese would say.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, the consensus is we can set an agenda for Mr. President. Mr. President, I dare say, is facing a mountain of troubles, so to speak, which he largely inherited.
Yes. And perhaps no. He inherited it by saying that he was going to continue the Buhari legacies. I don't think that was good enough. Maybe that was a political statement. The Buhari legacies, eventually he getting into the cockpit so that the ship of state was going to crash. So that is number one. But no, because at the end of the day, it does not matter when you are a captain and then you see signs of danger. There are certain things you should not do and there are certain things you should do. I see situations where this president, with all due respect, and I say this out of love, has not told the exemplary ways and characters of somebody who is serious about resolving issues. One of them.
Sorry, Akin. Isn't this too early in the day?
It is too late in the day. It's 7 months plus a few days, and I want us to leap and leap clearly. I say this because of my personal understanding, having worked with this president in private sector. Mr. President is aware that we set vision, and we set beautiful vision of hope. But within those vision of hope must be realities. There are certain things you should not do, and you have to leap at the head. I am afraid Mr. President is not is not leading at the head by way of the kind of discipline that I expect. 2 or 3 things have happened. Unfortunately, that has not helped this new administration. The first one is the supplementary budget that we had in 2023, plus this new budget that has now been passed into law. Is there anything wrong with the budget? Yes, quite a number of things are not right with the budget. But having said that, one of the first things I think Mr. President did, and he knows that he would dare not do that in the private sector where we are together, we will be, for instance, looking at the wife and creating a demi-constitutional role for her buying cars, not to talk about buying cars, and while he's looking at it, the National Assembly seems to have just gone to the market to be able to go and do certain things. On the back of he's starting well, saying that things cannot go the way it has always been going. I want to take away the, 10%ers, 15%ers, like Tinubu will have said, in a foreign exchange market. Let it be clear. He could have kept quiet, and then, of course, for the first 6 or 7 months, he will not only enrich himself and enrich others, but say no. And then also leaped in talking about the fact that the subsidy is gone. Well, it was effectively gone a month, would have effectively been gone a month after, because there was no appropriation for it. What was lacking was the strength of character and the discipline to now then say, for instance, I've slept. When you sleep, you now begin to try and make corrections, and those corrections can be made by you. Hold good example.
Hold on.
Good examples, I'm afraid.
Akin, and Sheson, Akin is not necessarily speaking for you, no.
Of course.
Yeah. But I was going to tackle Akin. You think, given the peculiarity of our country, my country, your country, is it possible to be your own man?
Well, yes and no. Very nice. I don't think it's a rhetorical question.
Okay.
In the first place, it's difficult for me to understand now that Bola Tinubu is not his own man in the mold of others. But I understand again where you are coming from. Yes, you got in there because of the consensus of some parties here and there. That is what is going to demarcate between what you, if you are going to be a boy or a man. You got in there, you saw a lot of quagmires. You can still be very diplomatic. He just took an action now, and maybe we'll talk about that later. He just took an action now, quite a diplomatic action. He said, look, Buhari's, single treasury account and stuff like that. He saw quite a number of things in there, and he definitely has stopped it. The second action that needs to be taken to say that it's not his own man, yes, that Nigeria is not negotiable. Right from Obasanjo to Jonathan to Yar'Adua before Jonathan and Buhari, saying that Nigeria is not negotiable is a farce. It's a farce because if you say that Nigeria is not negotiable,
the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. It's a favorite line.
The unity of Nigeria is negotiable.
Okay.
We can negotiate it without necessarily shedding blood. We are beginning to see blood in our flanks right now.
Akin, let me hold you there for the moment. Sheson, how do you open now?
Yeah, thank you very much, Citizen Zone. I've listened to my senior colleague, and I want to say that first and foremost, I feel for the president currently, and I will use my own small space. I currently just exited as the chairman of a district society under an institute. And it comes to be each time I'm trying to analyze and criticize our leaders, the kind of followers that we have. That if care is not taken, I'll take the tool of Mr. Akin Fatuke by saying, if you don't stand your ground, you see yourselves, slipping off of the ideas or the ideals people know about you.
So essentially, you can be your own man.
You can
in an environment like ours.
You can, because you only offend people and you don't mind, because after those period, what becomes of your personality? Is it the same person?
In your mind, do you think anybody has fit that bill, being his own man?
Yeah, well, in the context of it in Nigeria, it's been very difficult. And using myself in that small sphere, I ask myself that if I'm placed in position of authority today,
Yeah.
how do you manage?
Might I mention the late Murtala Mohammed? You think?
Yeah, because you see, the problem as far as I'm concerned today, it's more of the followers than the leadership.
Okay.
I remember, I will take practical example. While I was chairman, there are certain court services I made, and after the exit of the court services, the things you'll be hearing are, what are the things that are there from your court services, and let's have a fair share. And I asked, it's just a visit to actually share my vision about the dealings. And I'm like, these are professional body, where you expect that we should be talking things professionally. And I asked myself, I'm not going to allow that to deter my person. I'm going to sit and do what is needful. If I take it to the context of the country, most of our leaders will always tell you they are lieutenant. Leaders will not just work in isolation. Somebody was asking me this morning on a particular interview I granted to them, and saying, what do you say about Governor Sanwo-Olu, action yesterday with arrest? And I said, as far as I'm concerned, he has not done anything spectacular. It's just the failure of the lieutenants that he has. Somebody is managing that area in terms of the security agency, the police, the LASMA, and they've been seeing that activity going on every day. Will Sanwo-Olu be at Ajegunle tomorrow? Will he be at Ikorodu to control that? The answer is no. And it's a failure of the followers. A lot of people that have actually entrenched with authority to carry out certain things that the leader will have confidence
in football, if I might use that.
Yeah.
There's such a phrase as kick and follow. When you kick in leadership, should you not follow that kick?
You follow the kick. But I always say, when you look at the complexity of our country, that's why first and foremost you pick people you feel has the pedigree, has the understanding, that while you are not there, certain decisions are actually being taken, knowing fully well that I know citizen, I know Mr. Akin, he's my leader. This is the path that I know he wants us to follow. But most of the time, because of the greedy nature of we the followers, Mr. Akin will put me on play and say, Sheson, I know him, he's my boy. Come and handle this, and I'll get there and I'll just look at who is Akin. This is my time to do my own law.
Right. So in the context of football that you have rightly said, that coach who is asking his boys to follow the ball and they are not following the ball, he will have himself to blame if that team loses. My point, the buck stops
On the
leaders' team.
yeah.
Sheson, it has come to a stage where, like Mr. President has said, don't sympathize with me. We shouldn't sympathize with these people. And I hear you clearly. Let's go from the Governor Sanwo-Olu example that you have made. Yes, the leaders are not working in the way. Sorry, the followers are not following the ball. They are not doing what the things to do. But look, you have the power of hire and fire. I also know that one has pros and cons. Come on, fire them. Fire them. Now there will be just one person. If you are looking at President Bola Tinubu's administration today, no matter how downhill this administration has gone, we still see some silver lining. We see silver lining in Internal Affairs Ministry. They all came together. He understood his job, and he's been able to turn things around. Those are the kind of people,
as an integral part of a whole.
As an integral part of a whole. So if the rest are not working, try and train them.
Or taking a cue.
Try and train them. Try and tell them. Miss Usman's job is well cut out for her. I pity, like Sheson, I pity that woman now. She wants to draw a scorecard for all these people. How many ministers do we have? 45, 48, whatever it is. How many are performing? Come on. And I think you cannot be your own man or your own woman in the context of Nigeria because of the constitution we are operating. Look, the constitution that talks about students will not help.
I make bold to disagree with you. You can be your own man in this country, however peculiar it might be. Nigeria is a member of the Committee of Nations. We are signatory to so many conventions across the world. Now,
the jury, my dear brother, de facto, no. We can disagree. No. The jury, no. If 63 years, Nigerians are doing well in all other areas outside Nigeria, something is wrong. Something is particularly wrong.
There
is a big problem.
I'll pick it off my citizen to say that there is one thing I've seen that is our problem. There is no punishment for wrongdoing. And that has actually reduced our value proposition.
Because the people that are doing the wrongs are within you. So
it's difficult for you to do. Like the example you just cited, which I said this morning. As at that yesterday, that I saw Governor Sanwo-Olu arresting people on that particular road, plowing one way. I expected that by now we should have people heads rolling, saying that 1-2 people have gone. But you will not do that.
Don't get that done. So
you won't. All you will be doing is to be encouraging.
I will just do photo ops.
Okay, gentlemen, let's take a breather here. If you're just viewing in, this is Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV, and we are setting the agenda for Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief in 2024. My discussants are Akin Fatunke and Sheson Okwande. We should be back in a moment. Please don't go away. All right, folks, let's get it going. Setting the agenda for Mr. President in 2024. Gentlemen, let's begin the agenda setting function here. Akin, security.
I think 7 months ago, it was clear to everybody that we should have set, what do you call it now? A war room situation for security, just like we should have set a war room situation for economics. We should have declared a state of emergency on security. So if we didn't do it 7 months ago and then moved 7 months after into a leap year, opportune time for Mr. President to now then leap. He has ministers that he has appointed.
Security chiefs and all that.
Because of politics. Right now, is going to now do an eyeball to eyeball set. The fact that our security apparatus needs more than an overhaul, has to be hands-on, and has to be a bit much more effective. Go out there and do something. That something will be, in my own opinion, we need to begin to look at the Constitution of Nigeria. And then in the meantime, while we are looking at that, with the kind of influence that I see President Bola Tinubu, easily, in my honest opinion, the most powerful president on planet Earth today, in terms of how he can, network, National Assembly, the state governors, and what have you, begin to now think out with that Constitution and do it well. Secondly, I think I would advise that for security, let Mr. President take a cue from Professor Akuyili of blessed memory. Raise your hand. It's not a sign of weakness.
Not in sweet surrender.
Raise your hand and say you've not gotten it right, you've not gotten it well. You can do a bit better, and time is not
on our side.
On our side. and forget about your second term, in a manner of speaking, seriously speaking, forget about your second term. We must have to fix that aspect of security, and must have to do it very fast. Surrounding that will be, I need to be civil, the kind of laziness I see around Mr. President. I don't know whether he himself is setting that laziness or the people surrounding him. Communication has been very poor, has been very callous in terms of, we need to be Mr. President on May 29, and he's been appealed for that. Stephanie, God, I needed situations where Mr. President needs to be doing certain things in fast space. Even if that speech was dated, by now, somebody should be talking about what should be happening in Plateau. I think a whole lot of people should be doing things. We see what is happening in Gaza, we see what's happening elsewhere. I am not seeing that kind of seriousness. So security, there's an emergency, we have bandits, we have kidnappers, we have thieves, we have terrorists. And the high time that we all look at it, does not matter, even if there are people who have helped you to power, you must come out and say, no, stop, this is not going to continue.
Sheson, the carnage in Plateau State of how many weeks back was avoidable, largely avoidable. Does it not say something about the failure of intelligence?
Yeah, you see, I have said these times to that number that you cannot be doing the same thing the same way I expect a different result. I've been an advocate of state policing and community policing. And you ask me why. Most of the time, when you talk about security, language plays a key role.
That's debatable anyway.
It has, language plays a key role. And what do I mean? Our current security apparatus speaks to the volume that a lot of people are moved to an area where they do not even understand the issues that are happening around them. If we want to, while we're behind the scene, we're talking about your person. So if invariably you come out with your name and they don't understand that you understand the language, the dialect of the area, even when they want to finish, you hold them by the bull. So language is key, but most of the time you discover that you move people to areas where they do not understand the dialect of people, perpetrating the ills. What happened in Plateau was not from Lagos or from Ogun. It's from the people there. And the intelligence gathering has to do with information that you get. So when I'm talking beside you and you don't understand what I'm saying, sir, if we want to say certain things now, there are issues that you discuss that you will not speak English. Because you understand that English is a general language. So I'll go to my local, even if it is Yoruba, and I discover that you understand Yoruba, I might decide to start taking a dialect. And when we speak a dialect, you get lost. You'll be able to pick it. These are areas I feel. And you see, when you bring up the issue of community policing, area where people are saying is that people might hijack it and use it for... But the question
you don't share that sentiment?
I don't share it, sir.
Okay.
Because the truth is, we know ourselves. If we are to police this locality, I know when stranger comes in, if you are infiltrating into it, I know that I'm to protect my brother against you that you are coming from outside.
But doesn't it tell you that many Nigerians don't love this country?
Well, with our attitude. With our attitude, it shows, because it's about I, me, and myself all alone.
We are a different country, and we can loosely decide that we can cooperate. We need to look at that constitution. I think one of the agenda that we should, I'm going to be setting for this new president, I already alluded to it. I went into my crystal ball. Please don't ask me where the crystal ball is. And I saw one of the things that Professor Wole Soyinka might have discussed with Mr. President in the closet. And one of it is we need to amend this our constitution. And I think a way to go about it is to look at the and decide.
Just a minute. Are you telling me a major problem, or one major problem, is constitutional in this country?
One major. I like the way you put it. That's very smart. Yes.
One
Yes.
major problem is constitutional.
Yes, and,
Aki,
the other thing is our people.
Aki, you think we are sincere when we say that? Chesson, Aki knows that we have had
A series of
10 constitutional conferences since 1954 till now. And there have been 10 constitutional conferences reports. We have not heeded any of them.
Most of the time, you see, we have some of this documentation. When it comes to implementation, it's always a problem. And that's why, for me, I will tell individuals that we have fantastic policies where you want to match us even with the so-called Europe or anything. But when it comes to implementation, that's when you come with the idea to say, which one favors me as against what we have in the
Chesson, we can go there as we speak. The 1999 Constitution, as amended, if we followed it to the letter, would we still be in trouble?
The issue is we do not follow those things to letter.
All right.
Okay, please.
Without even reviewing, we do not follow.
Let me answer you.
Yes.
Jones. If we follow it to the letter, we will have done a bit better, but we will not be at El Dorado.
Okay.
But I think that are hidden in that constitution cannot make Nigeria break. One is financial autonomy. The second is the issue of religion, Sharia or no Sharia, that was smuggled into that constitution even before Obasanjo got himself sworn in. That constitution has lied on itself. However, you are also right, because when you have a good mind, okay, this is the intendment, okay, this is how it should have been, and all that, and quickly let's come about citizenship, indigenship,
settlership.
We need to go back in there, and the way to do it, let's sit around the table with all the nationalities, let's take the Okutabane report and begin to tinker with it. The only reason why President Tinubu may not want to do that, just like Jonathan was not going to do it, just like Obasanjo was not going to do it, is I get in there, it's my turn, so I can't remove the rug under my feet. We need exemplars. We need statesmen and women who will take a decision.
All right.
Like Awolowo did at one point in time when he was walking with his bare feet into the hinterlands and was preaching education. I don't think we have such kind of men anymore, unfortunately. We can still have them.
All right. Let's go about setting the agenda. Chesson, economic boom, economic agenda.
Yeah, a lot of problem we are faced with. First and foremost, economically, I would say we are not getting macro and microeconomic policies right. The level at which inflation is actually going up day by day, based on the fact that we are not producing anything.
Aren't you scandalized by this, by what you've just said? Mr. President is a finance man.
He's a finance man, but who are you surrounded with? You are not going to do the job yourself. The fact remains that there are certain set of people that I would say that majority of the people we have currently speaks to greed. It's about myself alone. But they will come out to say we are working in the interest of the country. But when you dig deep down, you discover that it's not in the interest of the country, but interest of their personal.
And yet we say the buck stops at his desk.
And that's why, for me, like Mr. Akin said, there is something that is lacking. I heard the president mention this while he was having the retreat with the minister, that he will fire anyone. I'm waiting. At least by the end of the first quarter, we're talking about 10 months into the game. Who we are going to see Mr. President fired by Usman report, who is definitely the coordinating head for performance index. We are seeing some of them doing fantastically well, and it's about their personality. Some are even saying, is it that some of these guys have political inclination, possibly they want to, even if you have, you must show the way. I will continue to tell individuals that the current Minister for Interior, as far as I'm concerned, a young man,
is doing a relatively good job.
Yeah, he may not be there, but at least he's setting the pace to allow the civil servants, who as I have considered as people that are actually creating the problem, to set the pace.
Put simply, he's telling us it can be done.
Of course, citizen, this country can be better than where we are if we have people who are sincere in the place of leadership.
And vis-a-vis a responsible followership, as you said.
Because most of the time you have good intention. The followers are, the area where I always support Mr. King in terms of constitution is that if you are there today, but if Mr. King, who is not my tribe, and we are not related, happens to be taking the money, the next question will be, is stealing and misappropriating our fund because of the ethnic religious correlation that we had behind everything. We must go back to the value proposition to say that when you do something wrong, it is wrong and you must be penalized for it.
I can set the economic agenda for him.
Very simple. I'm an economist. I know he's an economist. I know you know a lot of economics. Please, let's forget about the highfalutin economic terms, policy here and there. I'm not saying they're not important. First thing Mr. President needs to do is that he's lost trust amongst Nigerians. And that trust has been lost basically because he has not set the good example. He's asked all of us to tighten our seat belts and quote unquote, according to our clock, we are not saying that. So he must, the agenda will now be going forward. Gentlemen Nigerians, I feel you. I've asked you to sacrifice, I'm also going to sacrifice. So that's number one. Number two is the fact that he must cut all the cuttables. Boycott all the boycottables, starting from his
Plug holes.
Starting from his bedroom. This Sheyi, what are you doing in the chamber and all that? Oh, these are ugly things we should not be hearing from Mr. President. He knows it. So, if he has people around him who are being prepared and stuff like that, he needs to fire them. He needs to put their feet to fire. Thirdly, I also think, and very importantly, Mr. President, I see your vision and I see that you want to go into the right direction. Perception is very important here. It's been said that you have appointed a lot of Yoruba into what you call your juicy circles. I think you need to also now begin to now look at other geopolitical zones. And in specific, I am talking about the Southeasterners. They may not necessarily have supported you. Now you need to be a father here. Let's call ourselves together. The Supreme Court has made a pronouncement on Nnamdi Kanu. The other Kanu, who is the deputy speaker, is already opening a discussion that is still ongoing. If it comes and push becomes a show, people like Nnamdi Kanu, people like El Zakzaki, and people like some of these state actors who we are beginning to see that
non-state actors.
Non-state actors. Thank you. Let's give a reprieve. Let's forgive. And, we can't forget, but because of the states of nationhood, Mr. Citizen Jones, I can tell you as an economist that I see a lot of sabotage going on around here in the foreign exchange market, in FX wanting to come in, and people saying we'll do one thing or the other, including security, that we are not there. I'm going to try.
I can quickly. Are we in trouble? Are we in trouble?
We are in trouble.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Nigeria is not in a beautiful place.
Okay.
The rose is not smelling. It's looking like a rose by way of vision, but it's rotting internally.
Okay.
And unless we shake and shift the paradigm,
all right. We must quicken our pace because we want to take the discussion home. Sheson, power generation.
Speaking to that, I think you are coming to my area, and a lot of time we have actually nailed it on the board to say we are not doing as much as expected. We have the three value system: the generation, the transmission, the distribution area. I would say you've seen a series of collapse last year. I think about 12 times that we
national
grid collapse, and you ask yourself,
should we be working with a grid at this time?
Yeah,
in this century.
This is what we have. We ask ourselves, are we even maximizing what we have? The answer is no. The reason for some of this collapse is just simple. Most of the time, you want to pump out electricity for use, and people are refusing to absorb it. The system is monitoring it, and you are feeding him what he can consume.
But
it throws off the system out.
Sheson, but one naked truth is we have trouble with our transmission system.
They are working on that. Even with the current things that we have, the problem lies that the last arm, which is the distribution, still have a long way to go. We thought years back, like 10 years ago, when privatization was done, it's going to give a quantum leap, to some of the things with the investment we're going to see from them. But what we've seen is, back to what we're saying, personal grid. A lot of distribution companies, as we speak currently, are in the hands of the financier. They have moved one or two management out because they've not done what is needful at the point in time. A lot of cobweb we're seeing. You see, first and foremost, the end user, we need to get it right.
So what should Mr. President do?
Mr. President, what he has appointed the Minister of Power, is trying his best. But I will continue to say that we need to get to the bottom line. We have not maximized the power that is being generated. Truth be told, we are not maximizing it. We are not using up to that power that is being generated. So if you generate more, what are you going to do? At a time during a battle night, we generated more. What were we doing? We're selling power to neighboring country. So should we be selling power when we have not exhausted the one we have locally? Okay. And it does go back to the distribution. Can we beam more light into the distribution arm in such a way that the end user can definitely get the supply needed and will be able to pay for it accurately?
Akin, you want to add to that?
Like oil and gas, our power generation, distribution,
transmission
and transmission is worn out, tired, needs a lot of investments. Mr. President has gone to Germany and Siemens is coming back. Hopefully we will be able to get it right here. I am afraid, I am very, very scared because I have investors who have had to call me and to say that they want to bring in their money, or that the civil service is still, being a club. That are we really serious about what we need to, what we are doing?
That's speaking to the ease of doing business here.
Ease of doing business and the fact that we need to look at this straight on. What I have told you will require a lot of money. We also require, like Sheson will tell us, without us trying not to be populist, we may be seen ourselves paying a bit more. But when we pay a bit more and we have much more reliability, it goes. Citizen Jones, what the problem is, Nigerians are able to have patience with you for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but what we seem to be getting is that those who are ruling us are living too extravagantly fat, that we begin to now say, look, are these people very, very serious? Seriousness is needed. If it's going to be a one-point agenda to help us get away from darkness to light,
so be it. Yeah.
So be it.
It's very very strategic.
Akin and Sheson.
May I say that if it is me, I will not be ashamed. St. Jones.
Yeah.
I will go and call the likes of Professor Naji. Please come back. Oh, I don't want to come. No, please come back for national. We need all hands on deck. That is nothing. I'm not too impressed with the power minister. I am not too impressed.
All right.
I think he needs to really get up and do more. And
quickly, Akin and Sheson, one big fly in our ointment as we sit here would be crude oil theft.
Crude oil theft has always been there. I have
it's not laughable.
I have professional.
It is when issues are beyond you.
I have professional colleagues.
To laugh.
I have professional colleagues who have lost their lives. You remember, not too long ago, there was a helicopter crash that was coming from Escravos and stuff like that. The jury is out that certain things were done here and there, including the military. In fairness, it's reduced. It's not totally gone. We need an overhaul in the NNPC management and security apparatus. Just like we are saying we need an overhaul in our military personnel. Canteen are coming in and all that. Okay, well, taking the job of the Navy, is it the right thing to do or not? Well, they are coming with scorecards to say that they have just been able to reduce. It is not something that I will want to say on television or radio, but whoever is caught, and I mean going through the normal process, should not only face the full wrath of the law. In fact, maximum punishment needs to be meted on whoever, but be careful, whoever will include people that you would never think and they are part of your cabinet. Whoever sets this as an example so that people can sit up. Resource control is the end game.
All right.
I would just to collaborate what Mr. Akin said in terms of this crude oil theft, is most of the time we hardly punish those that we consider to be perpetrating this ill, and that's actually opened up more people
You
to
get the
eventually
impression, you get the impression, ugly impression rather, that they are untouchables.
And that's why more people are investing into it. Remember, even this insecurity we're talking about started just in a small way, and we took our eyes off it. If you don't punish a child for wrongdoing at all, be rest assured that it will take 2 or 3 more steps, and we have more cohorts that will join. No, if you do it, and nothing will happen. So for me, until we have that decisive leaders who will punish people that are actually, and most of the time, my learned friends, we always say, so your approach to it is not the way it is, democracy. As far as I'm concerned, it should be capital punishment. Because these people are actually killing us. When you get hold of them, that indeed they perpetrated this evil, it's not the matter of sending them to jail. It's a matter of hanging them and killing them. So we reduce them one after the other.
Sheson and Akin, too late to start?
We can start now. And that's why I feel that the current president can take the bull by the horn. If you are found culpable of corruption, not even ordinary, crude oil theft alone, corruption, misappropriation are found, and it's established. This idea of plea bargaining, for me, I'm not in support. You have that conviction and you say, okay, indeed, I stole this, but I'm willing to return back. Rather than giving people chieftaincy title for stealing, the next thing you should hang them and kill them. By the time you reduce 1, reduce 2, you reduce 3, I'm sure other people will think twice. But what we are seeing now is that when you steal and you're able to develop some areas with the stolen money, you'll be giving chieftaincy title. So what are you encouraging? Let's all go and steal, and so that we can get relevant
and then
which is not a value.
This ugly attitude of now lay him.
Now only him, because oil and gas, our resources, what is happening in Zamfara, what's happening in Elisha, and all that. I think we need marine sounds, by marine sounds I mean in the Atlantic, people are coming in and just taking
at will.
We have more than enough to take
now.
on.
We now have a marine economic department that's supposed to be looking at it. I want to see what Oritola is
going to do.
That he has done. For the crude oil, you ask the question, is it too late? Okay, maybe it is too late. The next best time is not now. Just day before yesterday. No, not yesterday. Day before yesterday. And if you meet day before yesterday, and by any chance you have missed yesterday, then you need to leave.
All right, we must end the chat here. Mr. President, one effective way of tackling organized crime in our country is to make anti-crime itself organized. And the gender setting mission does not end here. It might continue in your homes, wherever you might be. Thank you, Mr. President. We wish you well. But let me thank Messrs. Akin Patunke for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. Nigeria is going to be great again.
And Sheson Okwade.
Thank you for having me. I believe in this country, and country will be blessed.
Okay, and so on behalf of the Backroom Boys, this is yours sincerely, Citizen Jones Hussein saying, bye-bye now, until the next time. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.